T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Shout out to US ARC and all US ARC members. If you don't know what US ARC is, don't be ashamed. Just go ahead and click the third link in the description below. See what US ARC is all about, okay? You never know when legislations are going to hit your backyard, so that's why it's very important to consider becoming a US ARC member today. These numbers really do matter, and they look at it for consideration when it comes to battling legislation. So first and foremost, thank you, Phil Goss. Thank you to anybody out there who partners up and volunteers with US ARC organization. Thank you for anyone out there who's a US ARC member. And if you can't become a US ARC member today, please talk about it on your platforms. Let your neighbors know, let all your pet stores know what US ARC is here for, and it's here to fight for our animal rights. Thank you to every US ARC member and US ARC supporter out there. True.
All right, guys. Hey, everybody. Krista here. Like MJ said, definitely really important to join US ARC. So click that link in the description below to start a membership. They need us as much numbers as we can to help them, and we can't keep these animals without them and all they do for us. So again, really important to hit them up and become a member today. Kind of finish it off with some other sponsors. So of course we'll be discussing some Coco products tonight, obviously, but the chipper, go to cocodude.com, use TrapFam25 to get a percentage off your order. And then we also have Blake's Exotic Feeders. We're all wanting to take the very best care of our animals that we can, feed them a variety of the top quality food. So of course, go to Blake, tell him that Trap sent you, and he'll get you set up with quail that can be fed to a lot of our species. He's the best in business, high quality that you can get. So go ahead and reach out to Blake. And then we'll kind of round it off with Clutch, the ball python management software. Put all your clutches in there. Get awesome labels that you can follow up and the incubator countdown, be able to set your pairings right, keep everything on track in a very efficient and modern look. They're going to be coming out with new features coming up here pretty soon. So go ahead and reach out and become a member of Clutch today to get your ball python collection set up right. And with that, bring up episode 613, New Breeder on the Block with perfectly engineered reptiles. Bring this off, and then we got Biggie Top G. What's up?
What's up, Krista? How was Tinley?
Oh, it was a blast. I had so much fun, maybe a little too much fun, but no, it was a blast. Had a great time seeing everybody. Thanks for everybody who came up and said you watched the show. That really meant a lot to MJ and I as we were walking around, just knowing how many people love watching this channel. So really meant a lot.
Talking to that many people gets tired. It's very tiring, right? I saw a picture of you passed out on the sofa.
Yes, I had a freaking stalker watching me. Yes, tiring. My throat it's better today, but it was really sore last night.
Yeah, let me tell you, depending on what show I'm vending, depending on the foot traffic, I'm extremely tired the next day. You know, it's all relative. It really affects you.
Yeah.
Especially when you do your best to talk to everyone, you know, give everyone, you know, a little bit of your time.
No, it's great. Just so many people coming up and saying they love what we're doing. They're learning a lot, and that just kind of gave the little push to, hey, what we're doing matters, and people like us. So,
all right. So I gotta ask you, what was that number one animal you saw?
Probably an ultramel sunset.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, it was just a 2 gene combo thing was stunning, beautiful. So
yeah, I can't wait to make that animal. We both of us, right?
Yep, it's gonna take a little bit, but I'm on the path. Put some cool codons in, see what it does. I'm trying to think of it. I don't know. That was my favorite animal for sure. So I'm a sunset lover. So
What else? What else do you have to report from Tinley?
Cutthroat, man. A lot of people I think did well.
That's business. That's business. Business is cutthroat. You know.
Yeah.
It's a competition. That's what we owe it to ourselves. We got to do our best to go out there and do our best. You know. That's life in general. You know.
No, it made me excited to keep pushing on, keep breeding, kind of just elevate the best that you can. Just seeing the best in the world, all in one place. It's really something to see. Pretty inspiring talking to those guys and knowing all the work they put in to get to where they're at. You can only just look up to them for that. So. Yeah,
that is the best show, hands down. When it comes to the high-end ball python market, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It is the champion. It's wearing that belt, and I don't see anything taking that away for a bit.
Yeah, no, it was busy too. I couldn't even
like spot too. Overall central. Everyone could hit that show. It's just great.
No, it's definitely must see. Now looking forward to going back again. That was my second one. I went to the October one, 2024, and then this one. So yeah.
All right, so Miguel, perfectly engineered pythons. Miguel's in the V unit. Me and Miguel have always gotten along. We met through Hair Down and Keys Constrictors.
Okay.
Terrence. We got some stuff in common. We both grind the shows in Florida. We both have distributed the chipper, cocodude.com. Shout out to the sponsor. Shout out to Chris. Chris is fucking amazing. Chris has been, great to me and Miguel. Miguel has some great Xanthic stuff coming. G-Stripe stuff, Kiki. He's passionate about these animals. He's a veteran. I'm very happy to have him on. Very smart guy. So can't wait to get him on here and get to know him a little better. Because I can tell you he's in the V unit, but sometimes he's working and he's not in there a ton. So I feel like I could really get to know a little bit more, because when we're out there at the shows, we're fucking grinding. We're trying to make money. We're busy. We're doing our thing. So it's nice to have him on here, and I'm gonna get to know him a little better.
No, super excited. We're talking to him backstage. I'm gonna kind of already tell he's a hardworking guy, really cares about his animals and projects in the industry. So I'm excited to see what he's got to say. Him being Florida cat, I'll be moving down there soon. So
you're gonna join us in the Mecca.
Yeah, buddy. I'm excited. So yeah, you want to say hi to some people in the chat?
Let's go.
Okay, let's see who we got here. Got Byron Ratliff. Thanks for tapping in. We got Boza. Unit member. We got Willie B Exotics. Thanks for tapping in. Another V unit member.
That's my dog.
Factory.
My dog.
We got Joey.
Yo.
V unit.
V unit.
And Trap Fam. It's hard to keep. There's so many of us and both of them. It's hard for me to keep track who's in what. Morph, Valley, Trapper.
Hey, man. Freddie been a little quiet. What's going on, bro?
Yeah, he has been a little quiet in the chats. Needs some more salt on his drinks.
Yeah.
Got Nick here. We'll do a few more. Chris from BNS Reptilia.
Let's go. What's up, Chris? Another fellow chipper dude.
All right. Harley Python. Yeah, it was great seeing you at Tinley too this past weekend. Thanks for coming up and saying hello. And we'll finish it with one more with Dickie Foster. CS. Thanks for tapping in, guys. All right. Anything to say? Want me to play the music and we'll get this thing started, huh?
Let's start dancing.
All right. Let's go.
Good.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes.
Exclusive. Oh.
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. pop. When I come up with the crop, God love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the club spot. Get the club to pop. When I come up with the club spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the club spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the club spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Club spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the club spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the club spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the club spot, get the club to pop. When I come up.
All right, let's go. What's up, Miguel?
What's up, guys?
Mr.
That's like the
Miguel,
coolest. It's like the coolest intro.
Oh, I can't
It
beat
is.
it.
without a doubt.
I
Without a doubt.
sometimes play it like when I'm doing my own thing in my room because it gets me all like
Whispered,
jazzed
like
up.
not live. She's like, I sometimes play it like
Yeah,
not live.
jazzed up.
Hey, I've said this plenty times. Even the haters dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miguel,
What's up, all the V unit and trappers? What's up?
perfectly engineered pythons.
Reptiles.
Oh, my bad.
What?
You know, originally, in his defense, I thought about pythons because I started only with balls, but I knew that I needed to leave the door open. And I even struggled with reptiles because I thought about getting into amphibians at one point, and I wanted to be able to cover everything. But
That's why
So
I
I
did exotics with mine.
I can tell you in hindsight, I'm very happy that I went Villarino reptiles instead of, ball pythons or anything like that. Because if you look at it now, shit, I got a ton of species, bro.
same thing. I'm not just ball python, so it would have been bad if I'd have been pythons.
Yep.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. What's up, chat?
Yeah, you're a fan, bro. So,
Yeah, a lot of people in the chat.
all right, let's get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
How did this all start for you, bro?
Yeah, so I always tell this at the show. Amelia was mentioning earlier that we always grind the show, and one of the things you always get at your table is usually there's a spouse, a couple, something, and one of them is not interested. They're there to support their person, but they like standing away from the table, hands behind. And I always say, I started afraid of snakes. And they're like, well, why'd you get into snakes? I consider myself a very rational, like practical person. My first job was at a Winn-Dixie in high school, and on the lunch break in that shopping plaza, like 3 doors down, it was like a pizzeria, and I'd usually get pizza, and then there was an exotic pet shop. It's about 70% aquatics, but he had reptiles, and I would spend my lunch break looking at the fish, and never went by the snakes, and he'd always be holding the ball python or corn snake or whatever. And the more he held it, the more frustrated I got at myself, because it was a constant reminder of how irrational my fear was. I'm like, there's nothing more special. This guy's not special than me. Why am I afraid of this thing that he literally just has around his neck every time I see him? And so I was trying to build up the courage to touch it. And the second I held a ball python, it was in 1998. I was in the 11th grade. Wow. And I was hooked. Yeah, I was hooked. You were too?
So no, you didn't have any, as a young kid, you didn't have any, like...
I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. There was no wild. There was no woods in the back.
Oh, yeah, got you.
Concrete jungle.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I don't think I ever saw anything when I've been to New York. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
Rats. You can see rats in the subway.
You're right. Yeah, the rats would probably eat all the lizards anyway.
Yeah, they're big.
Yeah, so I didn't grow up with any of that.
Gotcha.
We didn't grow up. I mean, we had dogs, and for like a year and a half, we had a couple fish, but nobody took care of them, and they died, and that was the end of that. And coming to Florida, like I thought it was amazing. When I first came to Florida, it was shocking I called them poor people, but even low income people had yards. Where I knew rich people in New York who didn't have yards.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So to me, Florida was like this. It was a very eye opening experience. But so yeah, no, I didn't grow up with them. I wish I had that story. I grew up in running in the woods and picking up snakes and frogs. No.
Well, I mean, still here, bro.
Yeah, no, it wasn't until I knew I liked them, but it was like a healthy respect that I kept my distance. And then because there was so much unknown, I also, didn't know anybody with snakes really. So there was no knowledge for me. And then once I held one, I wanted to learn about them. So that was in 98. I graduated high school. At the time, I was an electrician. But I didn't want to do that throughout my whole life. So I joined the service and I had to sell my snakes. And then I got stationed in California, actually, San Diego. And there's another breeder. We've been friends for over 20 years now, 25 years. Leveled Up Exotics, low key guy, stays to himself, but big in South Carolina. And we started buying stuff. And, at that time we weren't thinking about breeding. It was more like, we both had ball pythons and we both had like leopard geckos, but then he had like Parson chameleons and I had like Jackson chameleons and I had Tagoo and, we were just all over the map. And then 9/11 happened and kind of changed what my trajectory in the Marine Corps was. So I kept going overseas. So, had to ditch everything, had to sell the collection. And then had kids and life got in the way and I didn't have any reptiles until 2019. 2019, I was driving down a road in Orlando and I saw a little thing that said a reptile show. And I said, oh, let me go in here. Blew my mind. I hadn't been to a snake show since like 2002 when pieds were like $25,000. And all of a sudden there was like 50 morphs and things, a pied was like at that time still like $400 or $500. And I was just, whoa. So I bought my first snake. And then I would say within 6 months, I was at like 10.
It's pretty good.
That's not bad. That's not bad. There's cats at 6 months that have 90.
Yes, that's true. That's true. And I think a lot of people, I talk about this a lot with people. If I would have had the hindsight, I probably would have been more patient and wouldn't even got to 10 and thought if I'm going to breed, because I was buying everything. Out of those 10, maybe 3 of them are still in my collection. And I wish I would have went a little slower and bought, the recessives and girls that, probably still be here today. Of the original, I'd say like 25 snakes that I bought, maybe 5 are still here.
Because
of how impulse I was.
I was going to ask, at the show, did you see a lot of those recessives, or was it mainly codom stacking at that time?
It was fear. I never had the expectation of being a breeder, so I was just picking up cool stuff. Now, I had people who were there who were telling me, hey, you should look at this clown, look at this pied, axantha, what do you like? And I remember thinking, well, I don't want to invest, I don't think I'm going to breed. I'm not going to invest in this. And kind of having this aura of like, well, that'll never be me on the other side of the table. Don't know why. It's a weird fear that I think a lot of early breeders have, or even just I'll never be over there, so I'm not going to spend more than whatever they're $300, $200.
It takes a while to gain that confidence in first the market and then yourself. I think we've all been through that, bro. Bro, I've said this many times on the podcast. Never in my wildest dreams did I see myself doing this full time.
Yeah.
Never. And I truly take it to the bank. I mean this with every fiber in me. Never. Ever. Yeah. I was doing great in my career, making great money, boosting my retirement, doing it all. Bro, I just wanted to have fun with this. I loved it. I love the animals.
Yeah.
This
industry opens up so many doors. Like, I've only been in it since 2023, and I cannot believe that, doing this podcast, doing what I am now. When I first started, I started on YouTube.
Yeah, I'll say it's unique, but it does have a lot of similarities with other industries. Maybe an unpopular opinion. maybe this will be my first controversial thing I'll say just so far, but I feel like a lot of people, I've met a lot of people that I don't know anymore who like, oh my God, I can't believe the opportunity is here. But I'm always shocked at how many people expect it to be easy. You know, like
They expect
you
everything.
can, but you can make this a business. You can.
Yeah.
But it's going to be hard, and you're going to have to work. And if you don't love it, if you don't get excited to open your snake tub in the morning and clean poop, you're not going to make it. Because people, I say this at the shows. I think me and Emilio have talked about it many times. I'm really good at selling Ozempic. And it's not to say that that's hard to sell, but people can see that I love them and that I'm passionate about it. And so that's infectious. And so that's the gene that I can push. If they asked me to sell a gene that I wasn't passionate about, it would be hard. And I think people could see that. But also scaling up, and then the snakes are the easy part, but the social media, the networking, the rats, the treating it like a business and not like a hobby, and being mindful of your expenses and balancing your budget and stuff. All of those things take time and effort. The snakes is the easy part, but there's a lot of people I know who, oh, it's going to be a business. Yeah, but for you, it's a hobby. Like, I know you're saying it's a business, but I'm watching you and it's a hobby. You're not treating it like a business.
The snakes are the easy part, but they could also break your heart.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the repetitive cleaning shit and, you know, breeding rodents or buying rodents. Bro, there's guys out there that the minute they sell their, let's say they stop breeding rodents, right? And they've always bred rodents. They're tired of breeding rodents, right?
Yeah.
But the minute they have to feed those animals with their pocket,
that's overhead.
They're gone.
Yeah. But I think that's where the grit comes in. I think every breeder that's ever lived has gone through, I'm kind of tired of this. And it's, do you have the fortitude to say, this is my dream and I have to do it, and come out the other side and be like, it was worth it? Or do you quit?
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you, bro, I've never thought about getting out.
No, there are mornings, you know, so kind of back on what happened. I did the Marine Corps, got out, and then I got snakes later. I'm an engineer by trade, and that's why my name is Perfectly Engineered Reptiles. I worked in the hospitality industry for one of the major theme parks. And right now we're crazy. We're opening up a new park, and then we're opening up another experience in Las Vegas in the end of August, and then we're getting ready for another one next year in Dallas. And by the nature of the division that I'm in, and I'm putting in over 50 hours a week. And as you can see, I'm not small in my snake operation. So I've had 2 shows back to back, and people say I go back and forth because I think you have to read people. But whenever somebody goes, I want to be a breeder, what advice do you have? And I say, yeah, my advice is don't do it. And if I can turn you off with that, you're not strong enough. If you look at me and say, fuck you, you got a shot. But if you need me to motivate you, you're in trouble. You're in trouble.
Yeah, I don't think
you're not self-motivated. This is going to be hard.
Go ahead, Krista.
Honestly, I think like coming into it, we focus so much on breeding. I feel like you don't have to do that. I think it's glorified a little bit more than, I mean, you see it, people get in, get out. So I think it's glorified in a sense, but we push the breeding so much when people don't have to, type of thing, and maybe they shouldn't. I'm still trying to figure out what skills kind of apply, or what skills will make you successful in this. And I sometimes I feel like you either got it or you don't. You can work as hard as you can, but I think there's still some like talent that has to come into that. I don't know. That could be another controversial talk, but
no, I don't think there's one way to do this. I think there's probably a shared traits. But we all know breeders who are successful who have wildly different personalities than other successful breeders.
Mm-hmm.
And some of it's timing, like in any industry, there's a little bit of luck involved sometimes. There's some people where you're like, man, that guy just kind of, the lightning bolt hit him and he hit the right time and things took off. And there's some people who you feel like, man, that guy can't catch a break and they're not in no more. It really is, there's no one answer, but I think like grit and passion, love of the animals, because there are a lot of easier ways to make money than breeding animals.
You
So
got to know how to move, man. You
Yeah,
got to know
yeah.
how to move. You got to have some capital behind you, some common sense. You gotta really love this shit and learn it. You gotta try to come up with animals that haven't been done yet.
You gotta think.
That's the really hard part.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Think
Yep.
five steps
Thinking
ahead.
Yeah.
The one
You
thing I
gotta-
always tell people too is, outside of the snakes, you have to make smart financial decisions. You know, if you're telling me I want to retire, I want to quit my job at, a certain time, 5-7 years, and then I see you next year and you bought a new car, like, how serious are you that you just gave yourself a car payment? That you're not rushing to pay off your house, that you're not rushing to own your car, that you're not taking care of stuff so that you're reducing your overhead and how much bills you got to pay. Because you can say you want it, but are you doing everything to do it, or are you just kind of saying it and then living your best life? Because those two things aren't compatible all the time. There's sacrifices that have to be made if you want to do this.
You gotta have the guts to buck trends.
Yeah.
You gotta have the guts to not want to stun, not to compare yourself to other people, not to spend yourself into fucking financial ruin. You gotta have the guts to do a project long term because it'll look better than what's being produced now.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, little things like that. I mean,
that's how you get ahead too. There's so many people who quit on projects where you realize, man, if that dude would have went 2 or 3 more generations, he'd be making stuff no one ever saw, and he didn't. We just didn't see it, and so he quit the project. But yeah definitely.
You got to be willing to take risk as well, obviously. Yeah, man, you just can't be a follower, because if you're a follower, you're gonna go on MORPH Market every day and fucking drool and I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. I mean,
see what he made. I want to make that. Yeah.
If you change directions too much, then you'll never make
any
progress. Which I had to go through a little bit of that myself, but I think it's needed. So,
that's a good point. Is to say that it's never too late to change. You had to go through it, but you still recognized it, made the corrections, and continued on the journey. There are a lot of people who realize, I want to change. You know what? I don't want to wait 5 years. I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. So kudos to you for sticking it through.
Appreciate that. Thank you. No, I think it's just important to have self-awareness sometimes and stick things out, and not just, if you see the market and the popularity going one way, don't just quit what you're doing just to follow the masses. This market is behind, 2 or 3 years what you're trying to make. So if you just change direction all the time, there's no way you can make any sort of progress.
I mean, especially now when you look at the advancements we've had in the hobby as far as shed testing and stuff, projects moving so fast that by the time you get there, how much did the price drop? If you decide you want to switch and start buying babies, and you're 3 years away from even getting something, where's that project going to be in 3 years?
Yeah,
it's I mean, let's be real. Like, things are going down 20, 30, 40% a year. Those investors that come in that aren't willing to grind it out, bro, they're in big trouble. Because what you have to do is just breed those animals, work them, come up with a game plan and make it happen. And it's repetitive work every single day. Lots of shit, bro. Lots of fucking shit. Lots of urine. I mean,
now, do you find, both of you, do you guys find it harder cleaning, or for me, the barrage of answering inquiries where I feel like 80% of them don't go anywhere? I'd rather clean than all of the let me ask my wife inquiries I get.
My inquiry to sale ratio is actually pretty good.
It's like 25% maybe.
Really?
What's yours, Emilio?
I think I hate doing dishes. Like, when let's say I switch out new tubs and stuff, and sometimes I have a helper to help me with that. Sometimes I do it myself, but out of everything, man, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Everything else I don't mind doing, bro. Like, I see it.
Do you have like a sink in your facility, or do you have to like go outside and do a hose?
I have a sink, but right now I don't have it completely connected, so I'm going outside with like big amounts of tubs. But what I would say is everything else. I love the progress of seeing the animals growing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if there's plenty of poop, there's plenty of progression.
Yeah, they're eating.
Yeah.
I mean, right now my holdbacks from last season, bro, they're fucking going ape shit on food. I love that. I mean, I'm graduating them in size. You know, with the rodents, ASFs, mice, whatever. Bro, it's those are the things that are intoxicating about the game. It's bro, it's addicting. It's addicting. Like right now, we're going into egg season, and then hatchling season, bro. I'm like a crackhead right now. I can't wait to see a baby hatch.
It's like Christmas. Yeah, it is.
Bro, it's year 20. I mean, bro, I can't wait to see the first baby hatch.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't go away, bro. As long as we're building every year towards a goal, you know. And
I think I probably took a similar approach. I'd say probably 80% of my collection is ball pythons, and I kind of use them to catapult me into, based on when I sell ball pythons. Recently, I've been investing in non-ball pythons because I think diversity is kind of a must at this point in the industry. And the truth is, I always liked the other animals. It's just ball pythons at one point were selling so hot that it was like crazy not to kind of take advantage of that and invest. But I feel like I'm seeing that more and more now. When I bring so I have sand boas, I have bull snakes, I have file snakes, and I have, what else? I'm missing something. Oh, Cameroon cave dwelling rat snakes. And
cool.
I'll probably get a couple more. I was thinking about Angolan pythons, but I talked to someone who let me know they just grow too slow. So don't know if I want to. And they're really kind of close to balls, so there might be other species that I look at.
They're not that close to balls, bro. That's bullshit.
No.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
For me, they're more. I heard someone say the other day on a podcast that they're related to berms, much more related to African rocks. They act like carpets. They are nothing like a ball python. Ball pythons are eating machines, shitting machines. Bro, they're so different. Bro, so different and very inquisitive. They're at the front of the tub watching you. Yeah, they look smarter. I mean, they're nothing like ball pythons.
Oh,
I still have a female. I kept one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think in the future I'll diversify more. The file snakes are something I was always shocked that they're not more popular. So that's something I think.
Yeah.
I think as I have babies, I kind of want to champion them and push them a little bit more. I think if people kind of get to learn about them and see them and experience them, they'll take off a little bit more. They suffer from, I think, a past that's not true anymore. And I think that's the one part of the hobby I wish I'd see grow more. Even me locally, I live in Lakeland, Florida now. And I've reached out even to the school system to try to get myself into classrooms. And, I'm lucky enough that my job will allow me a certain amount of days a year to do kind of volunteer work. And I can use that to be the volunteer work. Mm-hmm. And I think, with ball pythons, we had an influx of breeders during COVID. But we didn't really expand the hobby. There's a lot of people who were breeding, but weren't trying to bring in new people. They were kind of just hoping that Repticon or MORPH Market would do it for them. And I think there needs to be a focus that when you come in, it's up to you to help establish your customer base, not to wait for other people to do it for you.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot. That has to be the focus now going forward. And that's something I think Darian is doing with some of the moves he's made with MORPH Market. We need more people. We need to recruit that next level entrepreneur, that next level breeder, that next level guy that's going to have 20, 30, 40 snakes in the collection and just, he needs to get the next 10 or 20 people. I mean, that's how we do this.
And I think going with the kids is a really smart avenue to do that, because that and flip turns on the parents in the way they see that their child is excited, used as a learning opportunity. Everybody wants their kids to learn about the environment and nature, so it kind of trickles back up. You can kind of sort of bypass the negative retrospect by going to the kids essentially and go working your way back up.
I mean, it's a customer that'll be there long after you decide to quit breeding. You know, he's 10. If he turns out like any one of us, he's going to be in ball pythons for like 40, 50, 60 years, you know, or any reptiles. And, you know, they'll have their kids, and, you know, it just seemed like that seemed the most logical direction for the most benefit was to kind of pull kids in.
I would say at the US ARC auction at Tinley, they actually sponsored a kid that was really into the reptile. I think he works at the Reptarium, I'm pretty sure. So he's probably on their vlogs and everything. But I thought that was really, really neat, sponsoring him and giving him an achievement award. So, yeah.
I mean, it's in all of us to love animals from a young age. It's in our memories, you know, our DNA, whatever. The ball python has honestly, it's broken a stigma out there that snakes are bad. Snakes are the devil. Snakes are evil. I can tell you at the tables, man, so many families come around and they see this beautiful snake in so many different colors and patterns. Ball pythons have been the godsend to the reptile community. We need to continue, no matter what, you know, perceived value is. We need to promote every single mutation, every single trait, no matter how many there are out there, and everything else we'll take care of that.
Yeah. You know, I always tell people, and I'm sure Emilio has done the same. I do have somewhat of a niche. No one can breed everything. And when somebody come like, oh, do you have one of these? I really want to buy from you. Look, I'm not your guy. I don't make that. And I'll try to point them into, I still want you to get a snake. I still want you in the hobby. I still want you here, but I don't do that. So let me point you to the guy who shares that vision with you. Like a big one. I don't do a lot of, I mean, I do some, but not nearly a big part. Pieds, just basic pieds. I'm not saying advanced level pieds. I'm talking OD pieds and stuff like that. But when you have those at shows, they always sell. Somebody's always going to snag that up. And I'll always kind of walk around the show and kind of take a visual note, and they'll be like, oh, do you have any pieds? No, but, you know, you can go see Villarino Reptiles, or, you know, whoever is at the show, they had some. Go check them out. I'd rather you get a snake from someone than just walk away. Well, I wanted to support you. You can still support me by supporting the hobby.
Yeah, for sure.
That's fine. Yeah. So, and I think that's the focus, you know, part of this, and I'm glad, thank you for inviting me. If I don't think I said that already, but this year my focus is to push myself more. I think I've been just kind of focusing on the animals, doing my job, breeding, and the shows have carried me. I've done well at the shows. But I do need to get that larger audience. You know, this year I'll probably have around 40 clutches, and maybe Florida carries me, but some of the stuff's going to be a little bit pricier than what shows usually sell. And I'm not, you know, if I had to pick a deficiency, it's promotion on social media. So that's my focus this year.
Got to tackle it. That's all.
Yeah. You have the self-awareness, so it's just a matter of, you know, posting and maybe set a schedule or something like that. But yeah, it's nice.
And
self-awareness is good.
Amazing animals are going to sell, bro. Especially if you know the correct price point.
Yeah.
Because like today in the chat, I was beating up on someone, and when I do this, it's not a disrespect towards a breeder, it's a disrespect towards the mindset. People are trying to sell animals on the platform like if it was 3 years ago.
They had a lot, actually. Yeah.
I don't want to pick on a specific project, but a simple 2-gene albino line clown that's posset for another gene is not worth $2,000.
No, not anymore.
You better believe you're gonna keep that animal, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
So listen, you have to ask yourself, how much would I buy this animal for?
Yeah. Or I
You
just
know?
also don't understand the mindset of not testing,
Yeah.
right?
Also, not testing the animal. Rarity. You know, how influential is the project? You know, how hot is the project?
Yeah, how many
Bro,
are
like,
available
guys,
right now?
like, come on, man. Some of you out there, you're looking like you ain't thinking, bro. You know?
I tell people, keep an Excel sheet. And what you do is you track how long you're feeding it and gauge how much it costs you to feed this animal and maintain it in a tub. And when you feel like you get an offer that's insulting, remember how much you've been spending on it, and you will spend as long as it stays in this rack. And it becomes fairly obvious that it's better for you to sell it lower as opposed to just keep feeding it and growing it and paying to house that animal.
I mean, it might be someone's dream animal.
Maybe, yeah.
That's fine. But you have to price it correctly. If not, you're pricing it out of everyone's pocket. I mean, to me.
Or simple research, like you said.
high-end-
There are people who, if they have a pulse on the market, they look at you and they think, "What is he talking about? Where did they come up with this price?"
It's not a high-end project. That high-end buyer is not buying that animal. But again, this is simple. You know, you got to know how to price your animals. Don't price yourself out of business. You know, don't give it away, but don't price yourself out of business.
So how would you go about pricing an animal? Because it's tough. Like when I go on there and you see people that they're priced way above what you think, but if you price out what you think, it almost makes you look like you're cutting that other person when ideally you think that's at a better marketplace. Does that question make sense?
You go ahead, Miguel. I'll go after.
Yeah, I think I would say in the past, Morph Market was a little bit more reliable. As the hobby has gotten more desperate, you see a little bit more of a floor. But I never used just solely what was posted. I used to filter by sold and look at recent sold, not old, not what did it sell 2 years ago. But I would see what they were selling. And then also being in Florida, we have a lot of shows, so you can kind of compare what was moving at the shows. And there's just a judgment where you kind of put these numbers together and you're like, I think this is a fair market. Like, I've never been the bottom of the guy. And I think Emilio had like the same practice. When he bought my first snake, I was like, oh, I have one with another gene. And he literally called out, well, the one copy you have is a great example. And I sought that when I bought my Xanthics, when I bought stuff. Now I've produced stuff that's kind of lower, didn't pop as much. And I priced that low. But if it's a good example, you're not going to get it the lowest. Go buy the lowest. But if you want something that is a great expression of that gene, pay for it. And if you don't, I don't have a problem keeping a really good example in my rack. So it's a complicated question.
Mm-hmm.
I am big into the Mandarin projects. And unfortunately, I had some babies that were really bright, but I kept all of them because they looked really bright. They were good. And then I had some that were really brown that I was like, only way I can really tell is kind of what it does to the alien heads and stuff. And there's some blushing. But man, this is just a spot above a normal. So I'm not a very expensive Mandarin because it's not a very good example of a Mandarin. But all the hot ones I kept because I want to progress that line and make the brightest, best orange Mandarin I can. So I think it's what you're selling, the local market, the morph market, what's been selling. To Emilio's thing is, I'll use albino pieds. We're just going to say he's assuming albino. There's 50 on morph market right now. It's not an expensive product. You're competing with a lot. You can't price it very high. Go ahead, Emilio. I know you want to add to it.
Well, that's the hard part of breeding ball pythons, right? Earlier we alluded to the fact that it's not hard, right? Or there must be, Krista said, there must be aspects of this that are hard. What's hard is paying attention to what's really happening out there. What's hot, what's not, what's struggling, what not to follow, because there's people out there pushing projects still that are failures, and that's what leads to someone still following that person that's kind of still pushing that project along. And dog, that project is not hot. So you have to kind of read between the lines and see what's selling. You need to pay attention. Go on social media, see what people are talking about. You have to see what people are posting about, what they're buying. All that takes time, and it's work. It's work just like cleaning poop, you know, feeding, raising rodents. It's the same thing. You got to put that work in as well.
Mm.
You
I
got to
think
be
I think
analytical.
the other thing is you can take a, so to speak, failed project or an untapped gene, but you have to be the one willing to champion it and build it up.
oh, for sure.
Like you have to be willing to go through that phase, because you're probably going to have a while where people don't see it, or, well, I don't know anyone else doing it. And you're going to have to be the one, oh my God, you got to, you know, you're going to have to sell that and build kind of, you're going to be the one to build that foundation. And that's a tough spot to be in, because oftentimes you are holding stuff for a while and you got to make people see what you see.
I think too, we talk about that. You talk about what's hot. Go back in. Even that's what's hot now may not be hot next year. So
That's why it's so important to be, you know, for each of us. Krista, you love Ultramoon Sunset.
Yeah.
You don't give a shit. Eventually down the road, let's say Sunset's not as hot, right?
Yeah.
You're not gonna give a. You're not gonna.
No, people hate on that. I don't give a shit now.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like you don't care when people hate on it. You know, myself with Exantic, Miguel with Exantic, with Kiki, you know, stuff like that. Like some people badmouth Kiki, some people badmouth Exantic. Oh, it's gonna brown out. I hate that fucking phrase. I said it a million times.
Yeah. Looks like poop or something, turd, whatever. I
hate the whole phrase. Oh, it's just gonna brown out. No,
line breeding, people.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you gotta believe in what you're doing. You know, it has to excite you.
And I think it's infectious. I think it's infectious. I think people see it.
Even if it doesn't excite a sector of the market that, you know, is just following people anyway and just following trends, you know, they're fake anyway. You know, you're gonna excite people that really love this game. You know, and
yeah, I mean, there are people who like genes that I don't like, and I still, man, do it. You know, push it, go it. I'm excited that you're excited. I don't share your enthusiasm for that project, but I love and can empathize with how you feel about it, because I feel about it on something like you said, Axanthic. I was shocked so many people hate, oh, why are you doing it? It's a dead end project. I'm like, what do you mean it's a dead end project? Like, how do you see? I couldn't understand that, but so many people in the beginning, when I was like, oh, that's my favorite, it was weird to me how many people questioned why I was going into that direction.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, well,
Exantic's a top 5 gene, and people used to think it was trash. Yeah. When I got into it in 2009, people were like, "Oh, that's shit," you know. But I love it. I love it, you know. So
yeah. The other one I like, Lori. I think it's different than HRA. I have Super Lori and I have Red Axanthic, and they clearly don't look the same to me. But I think I think it's been confirmed in tests that they're supposedly the same gene. I don't understand it. Like, they look different, but I breed Loris, and you know, I've done well with them. I've done well with HRA. You know, I'm not pushing it as much, but I think people can tell when you're infectious and like something, and you can help bring people in to whatever it is that your gene is. And it might not be hot now, but I mean, Emilio's been in a lot longer than me. How many genes have you seen not hot that have just taken off? You know, something happens, a combo, something, and now it's not.
It's continuous. It's which one is it going to be this year, right? You got, you know, Spot Nose was dead, Paint was dead, bro, DG was dead at one point, Hypo was dead at one point, bro. The list goes on and on. What did I miss, bro? What did I miss, Krista?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it just.
I feel like Hypo died like 3 times.
I think it just goes down to work with what you like. Then that passion and that enjoyment will never run out if you're just doing what you truly like. I think you get in trouble when you're trying to catch or match things, and that's when you start spinning in circles. But it's just mine.
I like Nixon calling out Rainbow, by the way. I'm also into Rainbow. I think it looks really good.
Yeah. Let me pull up.
Yeah, so before we go too long, but so some of the stuff that genes I focus on, which Emilio's mentioned, Desert Ghost Axanthic. I want to get more into True Ghost, but I'm like really early into that. So for those of you watching who aren't sure what True Ghost is, that's hypoazanthic. I am into G-stripe clown, but more into G-stripe krypton and cryptic than clown, with DG, and then hypo clown, with a lot of Barnhart black pastel behind it. I like the dark genes. So when I first got in, I never went through that I love the bright yellow phase. I started out thinking the Suma was the coolest snake I'd ever seen in my life. And like mahogany, black pastel, cinnamon, I liked all the dark genes. Because in my mind, the lighter genes I would just use to complement and keep high contrast. That was what I saw that their role was going to be in my projects.
See, that's
And
something new. We have a lot in common. We have a lot of dark genes. We always talked about it in the chat. I love dark genes. I love dark clowns. But speaking of that, another gene that's back and on the come up, okay, I'm telling you guys right now, is black pastel. Whether it be Barnhart or a really nice black pastel. Yo, black pastel is coming.
Yeah, I love it in hypo stuff. It's so nice.
Hey, I like Cine, but I prefer black pastel 10 times more.
I do like black. Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I like it more than cinnamon, but that whole complex was, I always enjoyed it.
Yeah. Black pastel is coming back hard. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna repeat it. Yeah. Some of the nicest animals hit with DG right now and hypo.
Yeah, I would say that's a gene that to me in hypo is ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Just takes another contrast level for sure. I think.
Yeah.
It's just a rich, it's just such a rich, like, I don't want to say olive, like my Barnhart black pastel hypo clown has like a rich brown, but also like an olive, almost olive green tint to it. It's hard to explain, but no other, I don't have another combo that does that. So I don't know how else to replicate that except with black pastel and hypo.
Though the Barnhart has tested different than
different, yeah.
And but the super still can get not very good, right? With the Barnhart, like they get kings and stuff like that, right? Even with the Barnhart.
I don't know about that. I can't.
I can tell you, I don't think many have made super black pastel Barnhart black pastels. I haven't seen them. I think they mostly stayed away from that.
I just be curious if it tested differently, then maybe it's why I kind of got some Huffman, because the super Huffman doesn't have all those issues and it still has that similar look as
Huffman. Huffman is another one that's pretty cool. Yeah.
I have that in I have that in hypo as well.
Same. Yeah. With Sapphire, so I think it'll be
another gene that came back that was kind of dead. Sunset. I mean, they'll just keep coming, you know.
Yeah.
Sunset was gone for a bit, you know. Then it.
Boom, well, I think to Chris's point, it definitely had its haters. It was a very polarizing gene. You had people who loved it and touted it and put it in the highest level, and then you had those who bashed it every chance they got. It was probably one of the more polarizing genes I've seen. I
think that's kind of at first it frustrated me, but now I think it's actually kind of a good thing, sort of, that people bash it. That means not everybody's gonna do it, so it's not gonna oversaturate in that aspect of it. So, but it's still, pretty. I think they'd still grab new people coming in, like, attention that way, because I think visually, especially when they're young, are still pretty. So,
and I think early on mistakes were made, because I'll be honest, I didn't like it when you were seeing it with the dark genes like cinnamon and stuff. I thought it aged horribly, and I think we had to learn what not to put with it and what to put with it.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one for sure.
Yeah, and there's still so much. That's to say that it's untapped still. Yeah,
I can tell you, it's probably the most challenging gene I've ever worked with. Yeah, without a doubt. But a lot of reward too, because let me tell you, once I hit, those Sunset Ultramels or Sunset Ultramel Pieds and Sunset Exanthic Pieds and Sunset Dreamsicles, I'm gonna be fucking loving it.
Sunset Exanthic, I'm excited to see what that does.
Yeah, we'll see, man. There's a couple people working it. We'll see. I can't wait to see it myself.
Yeah.
I think it would.
I could be biased though. I want everything in Axanthic, so I'm like, everything should be tested in Axanthic. So I want to see just to see how gray it turns out. I want to see a Suma Axanthic DG. to see how gray that snake is going to be. Because
Probably.
I still believe, and I don't know, I talked to RGI about it a little bit, but I think desert ghost is just what in other species we call anery. That's why it keeps the yellows, because it's eating the browns. And a xanthic eats yellows, and if you take away yellow and brown from a ball python, you end up with a black and white snake. And when you look at desert ghost and people hate on it, it's super bright yellow because the browns are missing.
Okay, but once that yellow's there, it's a big ass turnoff.
Oh, I agree. But I'm just saying, like, I think people should change their mindset. And we like to name things and it's worked out. You know, there are cool names, Spider. There's bad names too, and we know some of those. But I feel like it's anery. Like desert ghost clearly is anery. We just don't call it anery. We call it desert ghost. And if you think of it that way, and you kind of know what anery does with the reds and the yellows, not brown, reds and yellows, you breed it that way, and you decide yes. But you can put yourself into a corner, like as you said, where it's just always yellows. So you got to be a little bit more creative on how you breed it. And the problem was it got popular, and financially people could make money. So people were breeding the wazoo out of pastel, making all the bright yellow snakes, and we ended up with a flooded market of bright yellow snakes.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to have a fleet, if that's the word, of desert ghost, xanthic clowns.
So I have 9 girls
with hypo, even desert ghost, hypo, xanthics. Man, those are beautiful animals. Even without clown, one of my favorite animals in my collection still, is a desert ghost hypo, a bell line desert ghost hypo. That shit is fucking like that. That animal's insanely beautiful.
Yeah.
I can't wait till I have a ton of that stuff, man. And it's my base.
So mine, we'll see. I have 8 girls. I'm sorry, not 9. 8 girls that are either have bred for me or are at like 1,200, 1,000 grams. And I went really unconventional with mine, so we'll see how I go. But all of my desert ghost xanthic stuff, I only have 3 that have pastel. I have fire, chocolate, HRA, and what's the one I'm thinking? Oh, and cypress. That's what all my desert ghost xanthic stuff is.
I love chocolate and xanthic stuff. Looks chef's kiss. Looks good.
Yeah, super chocolate, desert ghost, hypo, xanthic.
Ooh,
fuck.
Yeah,
bro. There are goals right there, right?
Yeah. Now I'll have some long odds, but I ain't in no rush. I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll get it. So,
do you breed your own rodents still, or even with all that work?
I do. Yeah. So when I'm in full swing, full baby season, I actually don't produce. My shed's not big enough to produce enough rodents for everything. So I do have to supplement. And, luckily that hasn't put me in the negative. But yeah, I breed my own rodents. I breed rats and ASFs. And then I purchase mice for the hatchlings and then all the stuff I'm selling. And then I've never had the other issue. I always tell people, and maybe it's because my ASFs lives with my rats. The only thing I've ever had snakes get stuck on is mice. I can always switch between rats and ASFs. I've never had issues with it. I know some people have, but I've been fortunate enough that they don't care. They'll take either. But I have had mousers.
You know what I'm noticing here? Is I'll have a few animals that will only take rats, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then anything that takes mice will take ASFs or mice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
but most animals will take all 3.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah.
I always wondered the validity of that because I've just not experienced it in my 5 years of.
Yeah, I would say 95% of the animals take whatever.
Yeah.
What?
But most people get angry when it's that animal. That animal. Damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like stuck on mice. What size are you running your ASF colonies? Like at one point, what?
So I have them in the concrete tubs. I built the thing with the concrete tubs.
Yep.
And I run 2-8, and I don't pull the babies till they're like almost small ASFs, just to make sure that they're off of mom's milk. I found that they hit like a little growth spurt, but if I pull them too early, that growth spurt takes longer. So I end up with, 60 babies in there. So that's why there's only a 2-8 in that big tub, because they fill it up. But I was finding when I pulled too early, my ASF took longer to grow. The only thing I can assume is that they may have still been nursing and I prematurely pulled them. So I wait till they're almost smalls before they come out of that tub. And then the other thing I found, I was struggling with rats, really struggling. I was doing well, but then around when we got cold, I don't know, maybe not even that cold, actually. It was like October. I noticed I dropped off about 20%. Nothing changed. I was feeding, watering, doing everything the same. And I tried to rotate some of the older girls, and I lost about 20% of my production as far as babies a month. And I couldn't figure it out. I didn't know if it was like maybe the food formula had changed and I wasn't notified, or atmospheric pressure. I couldn't figure it out. And I tried a couple of things, and one thing that's taken off for me, where my production is pretty much optimum, and I do it for both rats and ASFs. It's a little bit expensive, but it's yielding the results that I want. Avocados. I think the fat in avocados has blown them up. I still do the black sunflower seeds, but I don't think their food has enough healthy fats to give them that fat reserve to help develop and feed the babies. And so I used avocados, and I would say within like 6 weeks, I began to notice my numbers starting to climb up, and it's been pretty good ever since.
Yeah, they need a little extra fat, or sometimes they need a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
I think both are very good, in combination.
Yeah. And like I said, I think rats are super resilient. There's a gazillion ways you can make it work. That's just the way it worked for me. Was the extra fat from avocados.
I've given avocado scraps here and there as well. Yeah, they love it.
You don't give the pit, or do you give the pit?
I let them chew the pit because their teeth never stop growing. So I use it as a chew, because I used to go to Home Depot and just buy wood and let them chew on wood. But the pit, they actually bite, they don't eat the pit, but you'll see pit shavings all over as they chew it.
Interesting. Because like dogs and cats, it's toxic if they eat it. So it must not be so
I think
much.
rats, the only thing I know of that kills rats is citrus.
Okay.
So you can't give them citrus. And it actually doesn't kill the females, but it does make them sterile. It'll kill the male.
I don't know if I ever heard of that.
Yeah, I'll give them apples here and there. I gotta get back to
apples are good.
I gotta get back to the black sunflower seeds. I've been kind of slipping on that.
Yeah. Mine like the black soldier fly larvae as well. That has a lot of.
What I could tell you guys that I went through recently is that I upped my box count, right, and by 1, and they can handle that at a younger stage. But once they start getting a little older, they get more stressed. They can't handle it as much. I had to take one out.
Oh
yeah. So they could take it, younger. They could take it. They could deal with it, right? They're the younger you are, the more stresses you could take to an extent, right? You recover better. I could tell you that I went to 1.4, and I started seeing stuff I'd never seen before, especially at the 4-month stage. Now I went back to 1.3.
Okay.
Yeah. So that I see more babies getting eaten. Little deficiencies I never saw before. So yeah, I'm going back from now on. I'm going back to 1.3 for that box. Bigger boxes, I'm doing like you guys, 1.8, 2.8. But those small ARS boxes, you can't go more than 1.3. For mice.
Yeah, my rats, I have them in 55 series tubs, and I only do a 1-2. But I just have a lot of it, and I wanted to do kind of maternity, but I'm just too busy. Like, I need them to be in groups to help me manage my time. I just don't have the time. But I was worried. I thought maternity was a great idea because you could track when your female is starting to get old by their litter size is shrinking. And right now, I don't really always know that. So I just have to set a rotation. Like, whether they're doing good or not, 9 months, I'm rotating the colony.
Yeah, back in the day when I did those, I had maternity recs.
Yeah, it's great for
The
tracking
animals are
and stuff.
the animals are so big that I feel like they need a private spot.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But yeah, if you're doing 1.2, you're fine.
Yeah. I never wanted them to be too crammed. So
Yeah.
Now, Chris, do you breed your own?
Yeah, rats.
Just rats?
Yeah, ASFs are legal here, but when I moved to Florida, I think I would like to do mostly ASFs. Yeah.
They are. You just need more of them because
Yeah.
they grow so much slower than what a rat does. So it's not a 1-for-1 colony swap.
Yep. That's how. I guess what would your ratio then recommendation be then?
I mean, I don't know how many rats you have, but I would say it's probably at least 30% increase.
Okay.
Just because when that ASF is big enough to be where it would be for that rat, it's probably another 2 to 3 weeks.
So 3 to 1.
That's where the rat. Yeah. Huh?
3 to 1. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. And so you'll just need way more of them you'll do it and it's great. And they're easy to, my ASFs don't stink. They pee in a corner.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, I love that. But they just grow slower. And as I was explaining earlier, I have to put them in more space because I found that if I pulled them too early, they grew even slower. And so you end up with these tubs with like 80 ASFs in it. So you need.
But that's the thing. Well, here's the thing though: if you leave them too long, you're also taking away from future production on those adults.
This is true. Yeah.
So it's something you gotta
balance. Yeah.
You gotta balance, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. My collection's pretty small right now too, so at least it'll give me some time to
build. So far.
Yeah, you gotta do what works best for you. But we've brought it up on this show quite a few times now. The breeding span of an ASF is a lot shorter than the other stuff.
Yeah, you gotta rotate them out like every 6 months or something.
Now it's really easy to tell when they're done breeding though, because they wart out. They just start getting warts all over their body.
Or they're so big and slow that they just look like they're tapping out. They're looking to tap out, like look, feed me off, please. I'm done.
Yeah.
Oh, it's funny.
I also love that when they fall, like if you are cleaning tubs and one jumps out, an ASF falls, lands, and then looks around. You can pretty much just bend over and pick it up. And a rat hits the ground running. Like it's gone. And you gotta move racks and go hunt it down so it doesn't eat your water line. Every ASF I've ever dropped stops and looks at me.
That's funny.
Like, okay, come here. Go back in.
Funny.
No, anyone in the V unit knows anything that falls on my ground gets eaten.
Yeah,
Oh, you got a
dog. My dog, she bam. It's over.
When I get big enough and have a facility, I was like, man, I need to get a Jack Russell just for that.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
With me every time I clean, I'll leave that dog with me in the rat room.
Yeah, mine is an American pit bull mix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking little dogs so we can get under the racks.
Yeah. Oh, she'll get them. Now a big male. I don't think you should do a big male, but a smaller female could do it.
Okay.
My cats are pretty good. They're my.
Yeah, they're kind of built for it, aren't they? Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So, Miguel, collection size, bro. Where you at?
So breeder wise, I'm at 42 males. And I will say on that you alluded earlier, I do distribute Coco to go, and I am partnered also with Chris as far as the ball python collection. So our collection, he has his part and I have my part, but for the purposes of how I handle it, it's all one collection. So we're at 42 males, 120 females, and the grow out count right now is at 38. And then the babies fluctuate depending on how much I'm selling, and but right now I'm over 200.
200-ish animals.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of people kind of sit, right? Add that from what I've seen.
I think, and it's more to do with the rodents, not the snakes. After that, it just becomes hard to manage by myself without me having help. If I had an employee or like my daughter lives with me or something, I could go bigger. But this is as big as I think as I can get without, kind of just neglecting something, neglecting an aspect of it. So I think that's probably the 150, 200 range is where a person can still have a 40-hour-a-week job and maintain the collection without neglecting any of the animals.
So I think I know the answer, but I'm going to ask, what's that gene right now that we haven't talked about that you have in your collection that you are super excited about? I think I know what you're going to say. I'm setting you up to say it.
Yeah, it's gorilla.
Yes,
I bought an Australian gorilla,
Wow.
and I have a possible super gorilla, so I'm really excited for him to get to size and breed.
I was not expecting that answer, but
Rainbow would have been another one. I have Rainbow. Excited for Rainbow. And then the other ones are, double and triple recessive. They wouldn't be single genes. They'd be combos.
have you produced any gorilla yet, or you just have?
No, I mean, unless someone's hiding some, MBK is the only one. He recently just released, the first generation last year. So they're just now are breeders who would just be producing their first litters that aren't MBK. I got my male this year. So
Okay.
he's little,
Because you work HRA too. Millie, you've heard this too. There's sometimes that people think gorilla and HRA are very similar.
I mean, I don't see that. I kind of see a blackhead look to it.
I would say, if I was going to compare it to a gene, it'd be blackhead. It wouldn't be HRA.
Yeah.
That's just me personally.
So it's a boy.
A boy, yeah, super.
He's breeding for you already or no?
No. So I got him. He was, maybe 120 grams. He's about 300 now. So he got a little bit to go.
Yeah. Take it easy on him, bro. You know.
Yeah, I'm not.
You've heard the horror stories, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially.
And I never,
that.
Doesn't make sense to me. Yeah. But no, he's eating. He's doing good. He's growing. He'll be ready when he's ready. I'm excited. I think the market will still be there for it, unless we find some crazy stuff out. But yeah, so
can't wait. I can't wait to see what you do with it, bro.
Yeah, I think it look cool in Exanthic. I mean,
Silverback. That should be the name, right?
Silverback. Yeah, that would be cool.
Silverback.
True Ghost.
Can't give those names up, brother. You can't give those names up.
Just seems like a natural fit, right?
Yeah. Before we move, can we play some commercials?
Let's
For a
go.
little over an hour. You'll play commercials, and we will come right back.
Sorry for the interruption, folks, but a quick word from our sponsors. Longevity is one of the biggest things I strive for when it comes to thinking about being a part of the reptile industry. That's why I'm very proud about today's sponsor, Mark Bailey over at Mark Bailey Reptiles. 40 plus years, full-time reptile keeper, enthusiast. This guy, you can catch all his amazing ball python projects on MORPH Market. So make sure you head over to MORPH Market, and that's Mark Bailey Reptiles on MORPH Market. See what he has available currently. And I got to tell you one thing, he's one of the biggest and most respected ball python breeders we have today in the ball python game. So shout out to Mark Bailey over at Mark Bailey Reptiles. Thank you for all the support. And again, make sure you head over to his account on MORPH Market, see what he has available. Thank you so much, Mark Bailey over at Mark Bailey Reptiles. Shout out to today's sponsor, and that is the Coco dude. #1 chipper substrate in the game. Everything you see behind me, all my emerald tree boas, my green tree pythons are all over that beautiful cocoa chip over at cocodew.com. Go to cocodew.com, place your order. I prefer the Coco to go. It's already broken down, less dust, the chunks are perfect. But yes, I like the Coco to go. No matter what your total is in your cart, if you put in TRAPFAM25 in the promo code, you are now going to get 25% off your entire order. Thank you so much, the Coco Dude, for doing that for all my trappers. Again, #1 substrate in the game. Less duck sheds, less dust. It's the best place to be, and that's the Coco Dude. Again, cocodew.com. Put in promo code TRAPFAM25 and get yourself 25% off the entire order. Thank you so much, Coco Dude. Cheers.
Alrighty, some cocoa.
Coco to go.
Bricks.
Cocoa to go. That's the only brand I can use. All the ones are too dusty. It flares up my allergies. My throat swells up and for days. And yeah, the Cocoa to go is the only one I can use.
Yeah,
I
great
tell
product.
people I just like it because it's loose. I don't have a true opinion on anyone's brick, including Chris's, because I don't use bricks. So I can't tell you it's the best, the worst, whatever. But if you ask me about Cocoa to go, I'll tell you the best thing since sliced bread.
I think Chipper is the best product. Bottom line.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Especially it's well priced as well. For you're not paying fucking triple for a brick of fucking coconut. It's like I don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
the smaller chips a little bit better.
I
feel like
do.
it just
I like the
fluffs
smaller
up,
ones. Yeah.
covers the surface area a little bit better for me, but to my visually eyes, I mean the animals, I don't know if they really care so much.
But I loved it so much. That's why I became a distributor. It was one of those where I'm like, I don't think I'm ever going to go away from Coco to go. And I think, at the time, even when I started, you had the bricks. You were still doing the bricks, I think. But yeah.
How has that process been becoming a distributor?
It's not. I'm curious Emilio's thoughts, but my like the product itself is awesome, and I think it sells itself. It's such a good. If you try it out and you don't like it, you can let me know. I always tell people try it, like just use it, whatever. And if you have any feedback, if there's anything that you want to know, let me know, whatever. And I've not gotten any negative feedback. I mean, they could be holding it and just not telling me, but I've not gotten any. My least favorite part is just lugging it, just picking it up to and from shows.
I can tell you, I was very profitable selling it. I gained more customer base because of it. It's a great product. I still use it. And people thought it was me on the label. So
there you go.
No, I'm just kidding. But no, people did say that. But yeah, man, Chris is also a great guy. One of the good guys in the industry. Chris is awesome. So Chris made it easy. So yeah, man. I don't sell it anymore, but Miguel's doing it. He's got it. I send people to Miguel all the time. And
I did Charleston, and there were people reaching out to me, other vendors sending them my way. So I did good in Charleston on Coco. And same thing, other vendors, so other breeders who I had sold to were telling their new customers, their first-time snake buyers, go get his Coco.
Yeah.
So it sells itself once you try it.
Yeah, it's good. It just, it broadens your horizons with new customers. So, they buy your Coco, they more than likely end up buying a couple snakes from you in the future. And, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
All right, what else here? What are we missing now, guys?
Let's see.
What's that combo you really want to hit this year? If you could hit
the one I'm most excited to hit, it would probably be the Super Chocolate Desert Ghost Axanthic.
Oh shit! You have
probably not the most. Yeah.
Oof.
So my male is Chocolate HRA Axanthic Het DG, and then I have 2 chocolate females and a chocolate fire female.
Damn, that sounds fucking dope, bro. Even with the fire is gonna bring some lightning and
Yeah.
some lighting and some pattern disruption, that's gonna be
Yep.
cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that probably, yeah. And people say, oh, it's going to be the expensive snake. That snake is worth zero because there's no chance of leaving I'm not selling it.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
staying
stuff
right
that
here.
there's stuff that just isn't going nowhere,
Yeah, it's staying right here. Yeah.
Unless,
Oh, there's always a price, but I
Yeah.
got to go find that person who's willing to just astronomically take a,
yeah,
pay that crazy.
wine rake, most people thought he wouldn't sell that animal, but if it sells, it sells.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That Sunset Ultra, if it sells, it sells.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Outside of ball python, probably. So my boa species, I like the dwarf locals. I'm not really big into the morph boas. I think they're beautiful. I think they're really cool. But I think the accessibility of having a 4-foot, 5-foot boa is what makes a ball python appealing. So I'm into a very dark species called the Tarahumara mountain boa. They're in the northern part of Mexico in the mountains. So not a ton of food where they are. So they're a smaller species. Males are about 3.5 feet. They literally are the same size as ball pythons, but thinner. Because boas, you ever see a boa, it's a little bit more squared, not as round and heavy. So they should go, and that'll be the first time that I've ever produced Tarahumara mountain boas. So as a goal in the hobby, I'm excited for it. It's one of those things I dreamt about. So I'm excited to check that box.
Those sound interesting. I'll have to look them up after the show and see what they look like.
Yeah, they're really cool.
Your opinions on Monsoon, on Sunset, on other projects right now, overall in the game.
Yeah.
Market.
Okay. I'll tell you.
Hey, Monarch.
I'll give you. So Monsoon. I agree with people that it's hard to break through, but it is the only gene that does what it does. And so I think it's worth it I own none, but I support those people because nothing breaks through it. It's an early gene. We're not that long into the life cycle of Monsoon. So there's still so much to do with it. And it's unique. It looks like one of the big snakes morphs. Like we don't have a ball python that does that. So it's worth the time and investment. I don't know if it'll always be $10,000 or anything like that, but I'm curious to see what it does. I think like what would a Xanthic DG Monsoon look like? You imagine that thing just looking checkered? How crazy that would look. It would look so cool. Sunset's a different spot. I don't have an investment in Sunset. I personally don't have the gene it's too low on for me to invest in that as a new project. Because I think the future of it is with, like you said, like you're saying, Ultramel. So it's in those double recessive and things like that. I think I don't like it with dark. I think what I've seen, it just doesn't age well. It might look okay out of the egg, like so many other morphs, but it ages horrible to me in the dark. And that's probably the reason that I'm not that excited about it, because I'm a dark gene lover. But I think we have to find a way to saturate those colors. And there are a lot of people working it and pushing it with good things with Ultramel and stuff. It'll be a long time if I ever get into it I'd get into Monsoon before Sunset. The other one is like another one that I'm not a huge fan of, because when it's a bad example, is Tri-Stripe. When it's fully Tri-Stripe, they look amazing. But there are so many on Morph Market, and I'm like, how the hell is that a visual Tri-Stripe? I can't even tell.
Yeah, it's an inconsistent gene.
It's very variable.
And those are tough genes. Those are genes I generally don't go for.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to hurt anyone's project out there, but
no.
That's one that it's fairly obvious that, again, going back to some of the conversation earlier, right? Something on life support, kind of. I mean, I hate to say it, but let's be real. I think that project's a little bit on life support.
And there were rumors. I don't know if they've been true or if they've been disproven, but I had heard rumors that the visuals, the females didn't do so well on eggs. It was more the hets. Like I said, if you guys in the chat are Tri-Stripe lovers and are pushing that project, correct me if I'm wrong. Don't let me. But also, just like I said, the bad examples were just rough for me. Where I'm like, how would you sell that? I thought how are you going to promote the project when I saw a lesser Tri-Stripe and I was like, how do you know it's Tri-Stripe? I couldn't tell.
I can tell you that the inconsistency of the gene,
Mhm.
and also the normal coloration of the single gene is a turnoff
Yes.
for me.
Yeah.
But that said, there are some exceptional animals out there.
Yeah. When you see a good one,
I believe it's Bomb City has an ultramel tri-stripe that is fucking bunkers. Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen some Cine tri-stripes and the dope. I mean, the pastel DG tri-stripes, amazing. But overall, on a grand scope of the future, I think that one's kind of it's iffy,
and I do think, I think we mentioned it earlier. I do think there are, I don't want to say dead genes, but like genes that are relegated to pets, if anyone's producing them, that don't have a future at any level of investment, like albino. I think it's a great pet snake. New people like it.
Yeah.
But its day in the sun is over, and we know what we can do with it, and we know its limitations.
But let me say this.
But they sell. But they pay for tables.
Let me say this though. I'll come back at you with this.
Mm-hmm.
There are investment genes that don't have that capability. That's gonna be rough one day. That's gonna be very rough one day.
Give me an example on it. I want to see what.
No, I don't want. I don't want to.
He's gonna say Sunset. I know it.
No, well, no. That's
no,
one.
I think Sunset will hold this.
They still look pretty.
But there's plenty that
there are
people will see it at a table and not give a shit.
There are genes that we know are complement genes, but in a single form.
So we kind of beat up on the stuff that sells as pets, but I mean they still sell.
They're the foundation. And I tell people they're foundations. Yeah. I know people
funny.
who hate bananas.
Really,
bananas still sell.
It's really funny because you could take a gene like albino. Albino got killed by banana.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you almost put the nail in the coffin.
Or lavender, or some of the other albinos.
Yeah, really banana came out and it blew out all the albino genes.
Blew
them out of the water. Lav is the only one that kind of survives. For the most part, because of the big dog, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a beautiful gene. I'm not taking anything away from it, but banana came and blew away all those albino genes, man. And then in my view, a gene like ultramel, I think is gonna take a little bit more away from Lav in the future. So
yeah. I when I first came in, I was super big into Lav, and then saw the, I'll say writing on the wall, but when it was so gene packed and I could not tell a difference between a 5 gene whatever Lav and one that didn't have any in it, I was like,
I agree. I'm a Lav lover all day, every day.
Yeah.
My adult lavender female I still have there. It's one of the prettiest snakes in my collection. But once you start adding stuff to that, it kind of, I don't know, it kind of gets lost.
And I'll say, I'm not saying any gene is totally dead, with the exception of like desert. That's dead. But as long as there's no genetic defects, I more mean the road traveled, how far you can take that gene out, what you can build on it. So lavender still sells. I like I said, my banner is a mahogany albino. I produced Suma albinos and sell those, and they look great. But I don't have a next step for that project. It was just that they pay for tables. It's great that we build those investment snakes, but when you're doing shows, you need stuff that's going to pay for the show. And those are, to me, the bananas, the bells, my simple axanthics, my Suma albinos.
But guess what, bro? You got to take a risk sometimes, right?
Oh, yeah.
For me, that risk was falling in love with a Candino black pastel yellow belly and putting it to a sunset head pied this year. Just for shits and giggles, see what I get,
Yeah.
See what I get.
Here's a hot take. If you see them as adults, I think candies look better than labs.
I like candinos. I don't like candies. I like candy.
But I think it looks better as an adult. I saw candy pied next to a lav pied, like literally sitting next to a lav pied. And I thought the candy pied popped more.
A lot of people
as an
say
adult.
That.
Yeah. As a baby, I get the whole appeal, but to me, You're a baby for a year. I got you for 19 more years after that.
Yeah, we
What's it look like?
MJ says this a lot. We've transitioned to the point where we want to make adults that are better looking than the babies.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
or as good, that's something I definitely want to be doing going forward for good. I don't want to look at an animal and not like it as an adult. I think
But attribute. Yeah, I would attribute as to that's why Hypo's popularity has come up, because they age so well.
Yeah. So we are at the wrap up time.
Okay, let's do it.
Miss Krista, do you have a wrap up topic for Mr. the engineer?
I do. I feel like it's gonna be yours, but I'm always interested in kind of the future stuff, because with this we always have to think 5 steps ahead in this game. So where do you see the future with are you adding more species? How do you see your business, I guess, in a 5-year term and then a 10-year term? Since
okay.
Long haul.
Yeah, so I don't think I'll get much bigger. I think size-wise for ball pythons, I'm at where I want to be. I may even shrink a little bit so that I can expand some of the other species. I do want a couple of more rat snakes. They've been really cool. Bull snakes, I probably won't get too much more in. They're going to be a tougher sell because they're aggressive. I don't think they're a beginner snake. And so I don't know if I'd be selling too many of those to new people. And then file snakes, I definitely want to grow in that. That's one of the species I want to champion along with April Linkfield to show how cool they are and how unique they are as a species. Ball pythons, I imagine other people are doing this business model. I think I still have high-end stuff I want to push, but I still want to have entry-level stuff because I love talking to the new people and getting those people involved. And they're not going to invest $5,000 on their first snake, generally speaking, especially when I'm talking about going after kids. It's that middle area, that 500 to like 2,000, that if I can get enough visuals, I'll make less of those. I want to make some more boutique, like high-end breeder stuff, but I also want to make the entry-level stuff with them. And ball pythons will probably always remain my conversation piece, because I don't think I'll ever stop doing shows. They're just too fun. Make my voice hurt, and I usually am raspy for like 2 days after the show, but I love it.
Okay, so mine is simple, man. What would you tell someone that's trying to do what me and you are doing? Vend so many shows and tell them tell them what to expect and how hard it is. Because you know what? That's the next thing. Everyone's going to want to do a show.
Yeah. Chance favors the prepared. That would be my advice. Is put the time in before the show to give yourself the best chance possible to succeed at the show. Advertise it on your Instagram, your Facebook, all of your platforms. Put yourself out there. Focus on having good quality animals, healthy animals. There's been times where I go to shows and you can definitely see, not the best animals there. You don't want to be that person. You don't want to have that reputation start you at a show. So before you ever decide to do a show, put the work in to make sure that you're off on the right foot. And then warn them, not in a scary way, but the time, the Friday before and the Monday after of what, I do a lot of my stuff on the weekends. When I have shows, I have to jump ahead in the week to make sure that I'm catching up for all stuff I'm not going to be doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Especially you have a full-time job, 50 hours a week.
Yeah.
This is
I've been in the rat shed at 11 o'clock at night on a Thursday.
Yeah. This is not for everyone. It's not easy.
Yeah. It's worth it though. It's worth it.
Oh, it is for sure. What I would add to what Miguel said is, if you have a homie in your state that vends, go vend with them. That way you can know what to
mentors.
expect.
Yeah,
You know, what
mentors
to
are huge.
expect. Go give them a hand for a weekend for free. You know, trust me. It's gonna be in your best interest to really see what's really going on, because you know people might BS you a little bit. Oh yeah, I killed it this week, or there's a lot of misrepresentation out there. Just see it for yourself. Before I started vending, I scoped out a bunch of shows. Just listening, walking, scoping out what people had, what they offered, how they talked to people, and that's how I did it. I hit every show for a year. Not the small ones, I'd say. Not every small one, but yeah, man. Knowledge is power. Yeah, maybe you could do better, right? But you have to prove that.
Yeah, and like you said, talk to a lot of people. I think people get trapped where this is somebody I trust, and their word becomes the gold.
Yeah,
and not that you're looking for people to disagree, but everyone has their own truth. You got to go find it amongst everyone. We all have a lens that we look through, and you need to talk to other breeders and get different feedback and come up with what you think, what works for you. Build your own toolbox. Don't steal someone else's.
Yeah, it's not only that, and some people might not be honest with you or forthcoming. They might be embarrassed. They might be embarrassed to tell you, hey, I didn't sell a single animal this weekend. You got to be able to trust the people that are mentoring you. So, get good info. That's all I'll say. So it is
hot seat questions.
Do it.
You got Chris the MJ style.
I'm ready this time. Okay. Frozen thawed or live?
Live.
Okay. Cut your eggs or not cut your eggs?
Cut.
On which day?
58. But I incubate at 88. So.
Okay. First thing you'd feed a baby ball python?
Hopper ASF.
Yay imports or boo imports?
Yay.
One reptile in the world that you could import if you could?
Only one?
Yep.
The morphs of children pythons. Right now they're blocked by Australia.
Okay.
We only have T albino and regular, but there are a lot of morphs in Australia.
Oh, okay. Good to know. To spray or mist a ball python or not to spray or mist a ball python?
I'm in Florida, and if you can tell, my garage actually has I put a cooler in here, and the humidity's controlled, so I don't need to mist. I sit at 75% all the time.
Very nice. Now, MJ in the past says emeralds and chondros. I'm going to ask Ultramel or Monarch?
Monarch. It's darker. I like dark.
What the fuck? I'm not going to say that. Okay. Boost.
You can say it.
Kick them out. Kick them out.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I like both. But
I'm just kidding, bro. I'm kidding.
Okay, this whole thing.
Oh, hey, but I'm sorry.
I have neither. I'll say that.
Ultramel's on fire right now, bro. Sorry.
It is.
Monarch, those
Don't
yellows,
be scared to go against the grain.
Man, they pale out for me. Anyways, Boo Sports or Yay Sports?
Oh, Yay Sports.
What favorite sport and sport team?
American football and New York Giants. That's where I'm from. They make it hard to cheer for them, but that's my team.
I'm a Colts fan, so same way. Big flex or no flex? Are you a flexer?
I don't really flex. I don't flex.
Okay.
I'm not against people who do it, but my animal should flex, not me.
Okay. Steak or fish?
What?
I said I have to pick?
Yes.
Yeah, man. Hey, this should be easy.
I like both, like a lot both. Steak. If I had to pick one, it'd be steak.
Which cut?
If I was only going to eat one, it would actually be beef Wellington. But if we're picking a cut of steak, I suppose it would be prime.
Okay.
Prime rib.
Yay alcohol or boo alcohol?
For life, yay.
Okay.
Right now, I'm not drinking. So
sushi.
Yeah.
Van
specific,
Halen.
and I'll even go specific. I like bourbon, whiskey, and rye. Those who know me, like that's my alcohol.
Then that's good to know. Van Halen or Sammy Hagar? I still don't know who these people are. I guess I'm not like I don't even. But
How old are you?
I always
How old are
ask
you?
this, so
Yeah, I'll go Van Halen.
okay. West Coast or East Coast rap?
Coast.
Which one?
East Coast.
Okay. Favorite East Coast rapper?
Biggie. I'm a Brooklyn boy.
Biggie, Notorious, B.I.G.
Yeah.
Green.
Yeah.
Woo! Okay, those are the hot seat ones. Do I do word association now, or do you? I do. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna say the word, and you say the first thing that pops into your head. Milk.
Ow.
Coco.
To go.
Stuck shed.
Missed.
Favorite incomplete dominant.
Mahogany.
Least favorite incomplete dominant.
I have a least favorite.
Oh.
Come on.
Yep.
All right. If I have to give one, I would say LSR Fire. I think it was
I
all
don't know
bullshit.
which
And
one
the
is
truth, yeah, LSR Fire. The most
Okay.
overhyped gene I've ever seen.
He's gonna go get you. I'm gonna go get that boy.
He made a lot of money. I'm happy for him. I don't know.
Hey, I mean no disrespect. I'm just fucking around, bro.
No, go for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
Go
I
ahead.
got a few more IG trolls.
say it again.
IG troll. Instagram trolls.
That was the first thing I think about. No such thing as bad publicity. I'll take them.
Cool. Okay. Coolest reptile network in the world.
Rap.
Trap time. Okay.
All
It
right,
is
bro. You know how this goes. One's gotta go, okay?
Okay.
got to go. That means
One's gotta go.
People
All
always-
right. Cypress or Mandarin?
Cypress.
Gotta go, right?
Yeah.
All right. Lori or Mahogany?
Glory.
All right. Axanthic DG or Axanthic Pied?
Axanthic Pides.
Okay. DG or Hypo?
DG. I love them both, but I would keep Hypo over DG.
All right. Monsoon or Monarch?
Monarch.
Okay. Kiki or Zebra Clown?
Kiki.
Ooh.
Zebra Clown's too unique. Once again, it's we don't have anything else that does that really, so I got to keep it for its uniqueness. Even though I'm in the Kiki project.
Oh, Boza.
Yeah.
Sushi.
Keeping it
Sushi.
PG. We're keeping it PG, Bosa. Keeping it PG. I'm not answering that.
PG in the BIC.
All right. Biggie or Nas?
Biggie.
Oh, I
You
love
know
that.
Oh wait, leaving. No, leaving. Nas.
What? Old Town Road.
You know what's crazy?
No, see, look how young Krista is. She thinks you're talking about Little Nas X.
Oh shit.
You're not?
She's saying Old Town Road.
Yeah, I love that song. I love Lil Nas X. It's so good. I love the Old Town Road
No,
with Billy
Nah, but,
Cyrus.
hey,
There's a
let me
rapper
tell you
called
something,
Nas.
man.
Oh
Um,
shit! I'm gonna have to look that up too.
Biggie and Pac, they were the shit, right? But I mean, I know Tupac had a lot of unreleased music, but bro, Nas, what he's done with his career, forget it, bro. And I'm not disagreeing with you fully, but it's just, I think that since these guys died young, we give them extra flowers that they.
He was never bad because we didn't see him age and be bad.
Yeah, I don't think they can really compare to these guys with these massive, what do you call it?
Backlogs, like libraries.
Discographies. Is that what? Yeah. All right, so here's another one. Wu-Tang or Bone Thugs?
Bone Thugs.
Gotta go.
Yeah. Woo's the greatest group ever.
Yeah, I'm with you. But man, Bone had that's a really good question.
Fire. Yeah, that's fire.
Yeah, Bone is freaking nuts. That's all we got, bro.
Thank you guys for having me.
This was fun, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him. See in person.
Trap V Unit. Thank you for tuning in, man. I appreciate you guys.
B Unit.
Yeah. You're gonna be in Daytona, right? Both of you.
I'll be there.
Yep,
I'll be
I
there,
should
of course.
be there. I should be moved by then, hopefully.
Yeah, we're gonna have that.
Where in Florida, Crystal? If you don't mind, are you central, south, north? Where in Florida?
Southwest, Naples.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me tell you, Krista, you're gonna love the Florida gang that bends. For the most part, we're very tight. Most of us. I think you're really gonna like that.
I'm super excited. I was talking to Steve from Steve's Morphs a lot at Tinley, and yeah, he was describing that culture with you guys down there. So
it's not duplicated. I've been in other states and they don't have it. It's weird. I thought it was gonna be everywhere and it's not.
Yeah. No, I would love that. Yeah. I'm very excited. Looking
don't
forward
get
to it.
there's people we don't mess with, right? But
Yeah,
overall, like we are a fine group that is like grinding, So
yeah. Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So alrighty. Hey, it's been a pleasure, bro, to get to know you a little better. Obviously we know each other, but it was good to do it on the platform. Keep killing it, bro.
Yeah, more posts, more social media coming from me. So y'all stay tuned, and thanks for having me. I'm glad this was my reintroduction back into the social media world.
Yeah, it was great. I'll take you off, and excited to see what you produce. It's gonna be awesome.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that's a wrap. All right.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
He's very analytical.
Very methodical.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's the engineer in him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a question I was going to ask, is like, what traits as an engineer have you seen transpired over into the steak business? So I guess that would be some of them. Yeah, that was a question I forgot to ask. But yeah, it's a cool guy. Excited to see him in person here. Moved down there. He's got really exciting projects coming up. New mix of Kodoms that we haven't really seen yet in those projects. So
yeah, tomorrow we got All in the Tree Tuesdays. Wednesday, we got Cush's Corner.
Corner.
Yeah, I'll be on there with Mark Bailey.
Sweet.
And Patrick Holmes.
Sweet.
We're gonna talk some rodents.
Yep. Thursday we got, live with MJ. Friday usually Colubrids. Saturday Monitor, and then Sunday.
Yeah, Dave Levinson's been killing it on Friday nights.
Oh, so
and then
good.
you.
I'm coming.
Young lady.
I'm coming.
You got some big coming.
Yes, you guys better stay put because
she's got some big.
All right? Yep. Yeah. We're gonna have some heat coming on the show here. Just wait. Just wait.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, thank you for co-hosting tonight.
Yeah.
The homie will be back next week with our next guest. And it's a wrap on the trap.
It's a wrap on the trap. I don't think we've not said that before, have we?
Nah, I be making shit up.
Nah, I like that shit. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go. Episode 613 in the books. Woo! Gee.